Do you know what the Lord's plan is for your child? Unless you have had direct communication with God about your child and you know exactly what the future is, then you have no business predicting their future, and they deserve to have an education that is at least college worthy.
We homeschool for many different reasons. We talked about part of the beauty of homeschooling is we get to teach our kids to do life. We get to teach them to just live as humans, to cook and to clean and to mow the yard and to take care of a farm and to take care of maybe a family business. You know, we know homeschool families who own restaurants, and so their kids work alongside them. I mean, there are so many different things that we can do with our kids to teach them the value of hard work, to teach them just how to be productive, hardworking human beings that can contribute to the world and to their families. And sometimes I think homeschool parents can go so far on that side that they almost forget about the academics. So talk about that, because academics are important. Mm-hmm. And I want to say this carefully. Academics are very important.
Yes.
They're not the most important thing. But I feel like a lot of homeschoolers have fallen on the side of, well, they don't matter at all because they're going to learn what they're going to learn when they learn it. And yes, that's true. But at the same time, they still have to be academically prepared for life. And so how did you find that balance? I guess that's a question of not pushing them so hard that it's all about academics. You have to get into, a top university. You have to have, the highest scores on all the tests. You have to do all this because we want you to be smart, and well-educated, sometimes as a badge of honor for me, the homeschool mom. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they need to know things. So how did you balance that with your kids?
That's a great question. And you actually hit on one of the things I'm actually most passionate to talk about that I don't think you knew.
Maybe not.
And it is a spot to tread lightly, because I think that when you say one thing, people who are very academically driven are going to use that as fodder to keep going that way. And then people who aren't as academically driven are going to use that as fodder. So what I like to say is every single child deserves a college-bound education. Mm-hmm. And that is your job as a parent to provide them if you are homeschooling them. Our job as parents in general is to lead them to the Lord, to develop their character, to develop discipline, to develop life skills. If we had our kids in another education situation, those would still be our jobs. But we have decided to bring them home for the academics portion, and we have to take that seriously.
Yeah.
So, I do think that there are some who just push so hard on academics that they might create really smart kids, but do those kids, does smart equal wisdom? Does smart equal the ability to go out into the real world and do real world things?
Right.
Not always.
Right.
On the other hand, my kid's not going to go to college. I just know it. And they are 14 years old. Have you directly spoken with the Lord about that? Do you know what the Lord's plan is for your child?
Yeah.
Unless you have had direct communication with God about your child and you know exactly what the future is, then you have no business predicting their future, and they deserve to have an education that is at least college worthy.
Yeah.
So that's the point I like to make about that. We must do that. Yeah. That means what that translated in our homeschool was we academically push hard every single day in the mornings. And a lot of times we're finished by the time lunchtime rolls around. Yeah. Sometimes we're not, and we must finish that. But if we finish that, then we have the afternoons to work on some of the other stuff, whether it's the passion-driven stuff we've already talked about, or some of the life skills things, which can include in the home, out of the home, budgeting. I mean, a million different things.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. So let me give you a really practical example. My third son, the one who's a senior this year, he started a lawn care business this summer.
Oh, yeah.
And so that went into the school year. And he it was really easy for him to say, you know, I'm a senior. I've covered a lot of this stuff. How about we just use this lawn care as entrepreneurship and be done with it? And I said, okay, well, I love that idea. We will use your lawn care business as an entrepreneur credit, maybe two, depending on a few factors, like, you know, putting together a business plan and a budget and so on and so forth. So if we got it more into personal finance. However, you're still a senior in this homeschool, so you're still doing other classes. It can be very, we can talk about how to make that happen. I don't expect that, you know, if you have a big day of mowing, I don't expect that you're going to do a huge day of school too. So maybe when the mowing season wraps up, that's when you really push super hard on the personal finance course, for instance, or whatever. So there is the give and take as they get older, but it's still that boundary of academics is as important as the rest of it. And the rest of it is as important as academics. And you know what? You just communicate that with your kids and you plan your daily schedule around everybody understanding that kind of flow in your family. That we do both, and we do both well.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.